we'll quote, the great Winston Churchill. This is not the end. This is not the beginning of the end. It may perhaps be the end of the beginning. So, we're not at the very beginning anymore. But, I used to say, we're kind of in the first inning, and then I realized we weren't even in the first inning, right? The players hadn't even entered the stadium. And now, yeah, maybe we've entered the stadium. We're about to have the national anthem. But, we are at year one of a 14-year cycle in the emergence of what I'll call the truth net.
Mark Yusko, a prominent hedge fund manager, cryptocurrency advocate, and founder of Morgan Creek Capital Investments, envisions a transformative shift on the horizon for 2025. He predicts that next year will signal the beginning of the end for the traditional financial system, which he describes as an exploitative trust system designed to serve the interests of a select few at the expense of the many. Yusko sees blockchain technology as the antidote to this flawed model, ushering in what he calls a truth system. Unlike its predecessor, this system requires no blind trust. Instead, it offers transparency and verification accessible to anyone, anytime, anywhere. He believes this seismic shift will empower cryptocurrency investors and liberate individuals who have long been subjected to the inequities of the traditional financial order. For this reason, Yusko continues to champion Bitcoin as an essential investment for everyone, a conviction he has upheld for years. In a recent interview with 3T Warrior Academy, Yusko identifies a recurring 14-year cycle in technological innovation, with each phase introducing transformative advancements. He refers to the upcoming phase as the emergence of the truth net, which he says started this year and will get even bigger in 2025. Yusko observes that approximately every 14 years, a significant technological breakthrough reshapes the digital landscape. Examples include the introduction of the mainframe computer in 1954, the development of the microchip in 1968, the rise of the personal computer in 1982, the expansion of the Internet in 1996, the proliferation of mobile Internet in 2010, and now, the emergence of the truth net centered around blockchain technology. This cyclical pattern suggests that each period brings forth innovations that fundamentally alter technology and society. Anticipating the truth net, Yusko is optimistic about investment prospects in sectors poised to benefit from blockchain advancements. He highlights that the coming venture capital vintage could be among the most promising in recent decades, particularly in areas such as blockchain, artificial intelligence, computing infrastructure, and big data. As we bring you clips from Yusko's video, please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for the support, and enjoy the video.
This is just an evolution of computing. Computing started in 1954 with the mainframe computer. It was the biggest building. And then 14 years later, there was an innovation out in Silicon Valley, and 68, the microchip. And so you could make computers as big as this room. And then 14 years later, there's another innovation up in Seattle where I grew up, and now you could have personal computers. Steve Ballmer's mom famously said, "Honey, why would you work for that company? No one would want a computer in their house." He has 18 billion reasons he was right, mom was wrong. But mom wasn't wrong. Mom was just talking the talking points of what came out of the DEC, Digital Equipment Corp. CEO's mouth in 1976, that no one would ever want a computer in their house. Well, why did he say that? Well, because he sold computers that were as big as a building. So, of course, he doesn't want you to have a little computer. And so the incumbents will always fight against innovation, and they'll always rail against it and say it's unnecessary. And, 14 years later, 1996, I got the Fighting Irish sign above me. And I'll be up there on Friday for the Indiana State Championship, where we play Indiana. And so what's interesting, in 1996, you could invest in this thing called the internet. And the internet, if you saw the clip of Katie Couric and Brian Gumbel, they're sitting there going, what is this internet? What is that @ symbol? And Paul Krugman famously said, "Oh, it'll never be more important than the fax machine." Maybe it's more important than the fax machine. And the internet was a big deal. And Web 1 created about $2 trillion of value, and it lasted 14 years. And there was an innovation around mobile. And the mobile net in 2010, and I actually remember, it's interesting, I remember being back in Seattle where I grew up at Craig McCaw's house for a venture event. And I asked this family office guy, I think, do you think the mobile net is going to be as big as the internet? He said, Mark, you joking? Ask people if they want a computer, like whatever. Ask them if they want a phone. They're like, I already have two. I don't need another one. So yeah, the mobile net's going to be bigger than the internet. And my aha moment was the first time I bought a plane ticket sitting at a red light, right? 90 seconds. And I was able to tap, 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 buy a plane ticket. I'm like, yeah, this is a big deal. So Web 2 created $5 trillion of value. And remember, a trillion, right? No one shudders when you use the T word anymore. A trillion is we'd have to stay on air for 31,710 years, which would be really painful, right? I mean, I'm a funny guy, but I'm not that funny. So 31,710 years with me would be not fun. And we'd have to spend $1 every second. That's 1 trillion. So we created 5 trillion. Well, now here we are in 2024, or at the end of 2024. So we're 1 year into the next 14-year cycle. Now, a couple things. Why is it always 14 years? Well, it's always 14 years because young people, because it's half a generation, young people create everything new, right? Old people like me don't create stuff. We may build things and we may help grow things, but young people don't know what they don't know. They can imagine the unimaginable. So they're the ones that invent new things. And so that innovation cycle keeps going. And here we are in what I don't call it the truth net. Well, we're replacing trust with truth. We've had 839 years of the trust industry. What's the trust industry? Financial services. So what did the internet do? Well, the internet busted the monopoly of government-owned and state-sponsored media. So media was controlled by governments, either directly or indirectly, and the internet busted that monopoly wide open. So all the value used to be in the 3 big television channels, ABC, NBC, CBS. When I was growing up, right, Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, I was in front of my television with my TV tray, with my Swanson dinner, watching Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley. Owned me. Like I was there. They owned my eyeballs, all the ads, everything, because I was going to be there at 8 o'clock on Tuesday night watching that show. Well, now I can watch a show anytime I want, anywhere I want, on any device I want. So all of that value went to Netflix because of this thing called the internet.
There has always been a naturally anticipated struggle between the old and the new, especially during the early stages of the transition from the old to the new. We saw this with the horse and buggy and the automobile industry, the traditional telecom industry and the internet and digital communications sector, and now the trust system of traditional finance and the truth system of the blockchain. This age-old struggle is what Mark Yusko describes as the now they fight you phase, derived from a misattributed quote often linked to Mahatma Gandhi. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. Yusko suggests that as transformative technologies like the blockchain gain traction, they encounter significant resistance from established institutions and stakeholders who perceive them as threats to the status quo. This resistance manifests through regulatory challenges, negative media coverage, and efforts to undermine the technology's credibility. Yusko argues that the very act of established entities fighting against Bitcoin and the digital asset space serves as validation of its potential to disrupt and innovate within the financial sector. However, he warns that we still have a few more years of struggle before the gigantic traditional finance industry can be truly defeated. Here are more clips from the interview.
Now, media and commerce, those are big industries, right? Trillions of dollars, but they're tiny compared to financial services. Financial services, orders of magnitude bigger, right? We're talking about stocks, bonds, currencies, commodities. And everybody's like, the stock market, oh, that's so big. The bond market is 10 times bigger than the stock market. And the currency market is another 10 times bigger than that, so 100 times bigger. And so we're talking about massive industries. And 839 years ago, the Medicis kind of borrowed this idea from the Portuguese monks, the Knights Templar, and created fractional reserve banking. And that process, now extracts, I use that term intentionally, $7 trillion, there's the T word again, dollars a year from all of us, because we have to trust. Like I have this recurring nightmare. It doesn't happen like every day or every week, but maybe once a year, something like that, that I go to the ATM and I punch in my code and it says 0. Now, this actually happened to some people with Bank of America about a month, maybe 2 months ago, and because they had a computer glitch. And I'm like, well, how would I prove that my account balance isn't 0? I don't have a statement. I haven't had a statement in years.
Right.
It's their word against mine. And, they could lie. Now, the reality is that trust works most of the time, right? Anyone listening to us right now probably has money in the bank, Most of us don't realize it's not our money anymore. It's the bank's money. And we have an IOU, and that IOU works most of the time. But if they wanted to, they could confiscate it all, right? Happened to the people in Cyprus 12 years ago, 13 years ago. So this process, it's a long-winded way of saying that I'd rather have truth than trust, right? If my money is my money, right? If I want to send Abs up in Boston some money, to get him a heavy coat since his blood's so thin from living in Florida for so long, I want to send him some money. He has to have a bank account. I have to have a bank account. And I'm going to pay a fee, a wire transfer fee, to send him money. That seems really dumb because with a few taps of keystroke, I can send him Bitcoin or XRP or anything else, stablecoin, instantaneously. I don't have to bank account. He doesn't have to bank account. And we don't have to trust anybody because we have truth on a ledger. That is a superior system. So what's going to happen is the entire financial services industry, that clip that you played, every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, everything is eventually going to migrate to the digital world. And it will take this $7 trillion a year and make it liberated. Now, what happens when you liberate capital? People do really cool stuff, right? Human creativity is the most powerful force on the planet. That's why innovation is so important. So all of this is to say that we're early, but you talked about the clip. 5 years ago, so I'm on CNBC, and while I was on the show, which was only like 6 minutes, the price fell like 10-15%, and it hit $8,000. And Melissa, who I love, and I've been on her show lots and lots of times, she says, "Well, what should we do?" I'm like, buy it. Oh, no, you'd always say that. Buy it today. Buy it tomorrow, buy it next week, buy it next month. Don't buy it all right now. So everyone here should be accumulating.
It's not uncommon to hear crypto critics compare the industry to the much older and well-established traditional financial system and asset classes like equities and bonds. The industry's fast and largely unprecedented pace of development makes it easy to forget that it's only been around for 15 short years. So, when crypto investors and enthusiasts say we are still so early, we are indeed still so early into realizing this industry's full potential and growth opportunities. For many, this is just about crypto assets hitting new all-time highs or a few institutional investors coming aboard. For Mark Yusko, crypto maturing means much more. For one, it means the complete liberation of the human race from the brutal trust industry that fleeces us off trillions of dollars per year. We are moving from the trust system of traditional finance to the trustless and permissionless system that blockchain presents. According to Yusko, 2024 marks the true beginning of the blockchain revolution, a complete system revolution that will transform every aspect of our lives and daily activities. Yusko believes this transformation will make possible the transfer of every stock, bond, currency, commodity, piece of art, collectible, and every other form of investment and store of value to the blockchain. As we leave the old era of physical cash, stock and bond certificates, and physical collectibles to an era of complete digitization, Yusko is certain that the price gains, all-time highs, and mainstream adoption will naturally follow, making this a very lucrative venture for everyone. Do you agree with Mark Yusko's predictions for Bitcoin and the coming technological revolution? We would love to hear from you. Share your thoughts and insights in the comments section below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest updates. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.